By the way, you can catch Kumail in Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yes, I am in that. Is that game good? I haven't played it.
I just started playing it. It seems a little chunky, like in terms of loading. Isn't it like a little?
Don't fat shame the game, man.
I'm fat shaming its memory drain or something. It's like if you're a console game, I shouldn't be experiencing like.
You're load shaming it.
What?
Load shaming. Because it takes.
Oh,
a long
load
time
shaming it. Yeah.
There's a few issues, but it's mostly very, very good.
Yeah.
He likes it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I don't know why it is. Like I've been on an airplane and saw some movie. There's a Franco and a Hiblitz or something, and then there's you and like a thing. It's like I'm like, oh, there's Kumail. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, what did I think I was gonna see him doing? You know, it's like, oh, he's in a movie.
That's his job.
Comedy movie. But then when you're playing a video game and you hear your friend's voice, it's like really weird. It's
sorry.
It's closer to if you were in a porn movie that I was watching. Like it's
actually, I was in a movie called Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, and that's I was pretty close to
was
a
very
porn
pornographic.
Movie, yeah. Is it? I've been afraid to play it. I asked to be in it. There was like a developer of Mass Effect who would like talk to me sometimes, and I was just like, "Fuck it, what's the point?"
I would.
So I just DM'd and I was like, "Hey, can I be in it?" And it's totally fine if you say no. And then I'm the president in the game. But now it kind of sucks because now I don't want to play it because I'm like, what if I fucked it up and I fucked up my like favorite video game? So I'm like very nervous to play it.
I mean, it's a Mass Effect game. The only thing you're going to ruin would be a conversation between like, upgrading your armor. It's like you'd be like, God damn it, I fucked up Mass Effect.
Yeah, well, they made me program the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So, can I tell you, it's a little chunky.
Yeah. It was very racist of them to assume that I would be the guy for it.
But you did it.
I did it. I figured it out. I went on Wikipedia. I could never figure out the chunk problem. Is the how far in are you? How many hours?
2 minutes.
Okay. So I show up that early?
Well, you're in the. I'm not spoiling anything. Your character, not your character, the royal you. Your character in Mass Effect, the protagonist, is has. There's a little kind of a
He's
cold
a pathfinder
open where a thing happens that's like kind of a disaster, and it puts you in charge, and so you come in shortly after when he's sort of like. You have to figure out, oh, well, I guess I'm the new boss. And then you're checking in with your crew.
Is this a game where you get to design your look? How you look?
Yes.
What's your stance on that?
Thank you for bringing that up. Because I want to know.
We were just talking about
what is wrong with me. Because I can't. Because I made a character and then I gave him and I was like, well, I'm going to give myself like gray hair because I want to like be old and be in this game. Turns out it's not an option. You have a dad that's like. So I just gave myself gray hair, but I'm like. Younger than my dad, but but like I try to make it look like myself.
Yeah.
And then but Justin Roiland, co-creator Rick and Morty, season 3 coming to a time era near you. Justin like. I remember going over to his house when he was playing Skyrim, and it was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I always do. I was just trying to make the person look as fucked up as possible." And like, so he just however close together the eyes can be, however wide the ear, he'll just make every extreme choice and like come up with this like weird potato man that like, and it makes so much more sense to me. And while I'm making my character in Mass Effect. There's some really impressive hairstyles, and one of them was like this very like froed out thing. So I'd already made it look a lot like me to me as much as I could. But then I was scrolling through the hairs, and one of them was just this like bam, like this like powerful fro, like but all tangled, not like a statesman in the 70s, like this guy was like had bigger fish to fry spiritually, and it was so funny, it made me laugh out loud, but I didn't use it. And I was like, why am I not following my joy?
You could do literally anything, but you're like, no, that wouldn't be true to the character.
Exactly. It's like I didn't want to throw. It's like I want to come as close as I can.
You can do anything you want.
I agree with you.
No.
I think if you want to set out to make yourself, then make yourself, and don't give yourself a fro.
I
But what is
disagree.
that narcissistic impulse? We're playing games because we want to be someone else, right? Is it, here, I'll defend myself. It's because I think the ironic thing is me, like I'm Woody Allen when I'm during the Russian Revolution.
Sure.
So like that's why I figure the bigger laughs are to come if it looks just like me. Which, by the way, it can't because as Cody walked in the room, I said, "Did I make it?" And I tried to make it look like me, and she saw it, and then she laughed, and she's just like, "You can't. So you can't make them fat. Like you can't."
That's the thing. I think a lot of people.
That's
have
my
had some,
problem with video games. You can never make them fat.
I want to
Yeah.
make them fat.
I think a lot of people have had serious kind of emotional breakdowns designing their bodies in these games.
Oh, we did one where I was trying to make myself for this basketball game, and she was giving me advice on what to do, and we almost got into a
Mistake.
very big fight.
That was a mistake.
I was like, "That's not how I look," and she's like, "Move the eyes closer together."
I did not.
Emily,
I will say that you could.
fatter face,
I
Emily.
did had her face.
You found other ways to say those things.
This is what I'm talking about. When you're having to pick your body type for a video game, it can be a confrontive thing to do for your emotional. So I say always make something weird. Always be a cat person.
Do you spend? I get sucked in if I have 4 hours to play a video game, which is like a big deal. Oh my god, I found 4 hours,
Yeah.
and it's one of those games where. Prepare to dock with the space station. Check the mirror, see if your face looks all right. Bloop. And then 3.5. I mean,
That's your time.
The whole time.
And every
Very
time you try to
funny.
make it look like you, is that right? Or every time you?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've never really unless there've been maybe some games where it was so clear that I couldn't make it look like me at all that I was able to just make some decision in my head that it didn't have to be me. But mostly I'm just like trying to make it look like me.
I think that's good. I think that's totally good. If you're playing this game, you're in the game. It should look like you. I totally agree with you. And I try and do that too, except when Emily's around, because that's not good.
For the basketball game, you literally couldn't go as short. Like the lowest height they had.
They
was,
literally,
short.
in the basketball game, I couldn't get to my height, so I had to be 1 inch taller than I am, and they wouldn't let me be my actual age. And they wouldn't let me be my actual age, so my dream is over that I'll ever end up in the NBA. Like even they're like,
And
come on.
you had to be on a different HBO show.
Yeah, they were like, you got to be on Veep to play this
Doesn't it
game.
seem like they should have by now? They should. I guess it's because there's not a standard technology yet but the private industry isn't incentivized to do this. But we have the technology long
To do
since.
anything, yeah.
You could be at a mall or something and you'd go like, oh, I should get one of those because I play a lot of video games. One of those being you step into a kiosk and they just do a scan.
Oh, and then they
you
just
walk out with a file on a
You're
thumb
always
drive
yourself.
that every game that's based on an avatar of a human being, it's always you, so it's always
Well,
hilarious.
then you get to see what you actually look like.
No, that's really funny. I mean, believe me, I try. I go to cheeks as far. It's like I try. And it's like that's why it always stops at some weird place where it's like the game has decided you need to be
What is-
athletic,
Yeah.
but
what
I
is
want to
the-
look like a
what is the
bowling pin with
machine-
Randy Quaid's head on it.
What's the machine look like? That do you step in like a booth or do they
It's a
like?
bunch of little dicks.
It's like
It looks
do
like
they give you like a hula hoop?
There should be a setting for like hot Bruce Valanche. Or sexy Russell Crowe.
In the booth?
Is there a booth?
Talking
It'll
about a
look
booth
like the
right
booth at the
now.
airport.
obviously it looks
Yeah.
like a booth.
Is it like a
Like the
TSA
airport
booth?
Obviously,
it
Or
looks
like,
like
a
a booth.
ticket booth when you catch all the tickets or
no,
dollars?
It's TSA. It's TSA.
TSA booth.
It's a screening.
It looks like a TSA booth.
It looks like
So you got to put your arms above your head. Yeah. Do you
I don't know.
have
You
to
probably
keep,
go like this.
Does your
in a
character
model.
have their
below
arms
your
above
head.
their head the whole time?
do you keep your clothes on?
Yeah.
Now that's a good question.
How does
actually.
it know what your butt looks like?
You put on like a special like blue like neoprene
Mocap suit, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet, Rob, you could make yourself in a video game.
Oh,
Easy.
Rob's
You're the default.
easiest
I bet you
one.
would be easy.
Yeah.
You'd be the default. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can never
It would be
look
like the starter guy. You're like, done.
Yeah. The crash test dummy looking guy.
Yeah, you know who doesn't even have the option.
I
is
never.
Spencer.
Yeah, it's like this guy's not wearing shorts. Like he doesn't have a beard. It's
You never
it's
get.
terrible.
They don't have good beard options.
There's more to you.
They
than
don't
that.
have, there's never, like, if there's a male ponytail, or even just, you can pick female hair options as a male character, holy shit, that's better than most games I play. It's just like, I always look like a weird, like, Cheech and Chong, like, cigar Indian kind of guy, I think.
you try to make yourself look like you too.
Well, I can't. I mean,
but you would like to.
I would, yeah, but
That's
I've
interesting.
had to compromise.
It's just never occurred to me, and I don't know if it's because I'm a lady, and I never had the option up until very
Also, now
recently.
we're
Like,
all sexist.
That's what I'm exactly. Thank you. But I mean, to me, I never played video games to be me. I played video games to
Right.
be someone else because I never had the option to be me until recently.
But I think that I think there's
That's
just a real distinction there. Would I be shocked if we found out you could cross-reference it with gender of modern gamer? I wouldn't be shocked to see there was a correlation of the data, but I also think it just seems to me. I just think, I'm a narcissist. I'm just like, look, it's
But
not.
clearly,
It's a
everybody is.
negative word, narcissist. But we didn't poll them and
Let's
say
poll them.
how many.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be an honest poll because
Be honest.
Please be honest.
There. Now
Everyone-
it will be an honest
Everyone,
poll.
Thank
close your
you.
eyes.
if you're on a third date and you brought her to Harmontown, first of all,
Don't do that.
yeah.
For sure. Bad third date.
But you're not going to be like, yes, I'm a narcissist. I don't know. I mean, maybe
No,
you
but
are.
I don't
that's
think.
not what that-
I'm not saying that because you want to make yourself in a video game, you're a narcissist.
Okay,
Yes.
well, okay, but I put that in their heads. All right, so by applause, when you play video games that let you design the character, how many of you strive to make it yourself?
Yay.
That's a solid number.
I'm gonna
That's
call that
pretty
50% of the
How many go
of the
cat
American
people?
public.
Cat people? Yeah.
Cat people. Is
I
it-
always do cat people.
How about a bunch of little dicks? Anybody? Or vaginas.
But again, be honest. Like, how many of you would always design your avatar or your player to be something totally different than you? See,
But they're more extroverted people, so they sound like more people.
I would call that 40-60, though. I mean, like, if I had
Yeah,
to-
I don't
pretty
know.
close. It's pretty
40-60.
close.
a lot of little dicks.
It almost sounded like half and half, but the people that are more extroverted, altruistic, that are like, I want to be someone else. I'm selfless. I'm a wonderful person.
I mean, I'm not a big.
Now that's a very good point. What he said was, it's because I hate myself. So.
But he did say it out loud in a room full of people.
Okay. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, I mean, and then you subdivide that tree into when you get to a point of hating yourself, when do you consider yourself a biological weapon that you fling at people? But I guess we're mostly not Trump voters. But that's that troll culture of like, you know what? I'm so gross. Society's not made for me. I'm gonna fucking fling myself on you like multiple MiGs in a fucking.
That's
Good
right.
reference.
That is what trolls are. They weaponize themselves and just like fling
They're
themselves at
saying,
other
yeah,
people.
look how
because they-
gross I am. That's why
because they
that's
hate
why
themselves.
smart people can be into Donald Trump. I'm not saying it goes hand in hand, but I'm saying that's why it's possible for that archetype to exist. Because if you feel enough like you know the prom queen's always winning, and let's see how she likes it when, and it's like the more he misspells tweets, the more he like reveals himself to others. That's that connection. However, I think his revealing that he has no interest in net neutrality and also wants everyone's.
I know.
I think he's
Well-
losing his computer troll demo.
Well, because he
demo.
doesn't really stand for anything, obviously, and so that's been like it's so. I mean, there's so much.
Why don't you stop talking about politics? Get back to doing your podcast.
Hey, you know that Fate of the Furious did really well this weekend.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's why I come to this podcast.
Yeah.
I want to hear about
Outdid
recent
that.
movies.
Outdid that Force Awakens, that Fate of the Furious.
All right.
That's
see
that car movie.
Yeah, he won. Get over it. Get back to your podcast. Tell me about the Fate of the Furious.
Now, Dan, like when we started with Sharpie and Quark back a long time ago in D&D, you picked like fighter character, like you want to be like a tough warrior character.
A furious one.
What?
And fast.
So attribute wise, you want to be somebody else, but physically, you want to still if you could draw yourself in that world, it's you. But you can kick
And he
ass.
did for Harmon Quest.
Yeah.
I assume you had a say in the design of your character. That looked like you.
Well, I had to say in the fact that it's funny if you're doing
Right.
like recognize the formula the people
Right.
need to look like the people. But in point of fact, when we've played D&D here, Pathfinder, and in all that stuff, I've made a conscious effort to not I don't try to. I haven't played like stealthy assassin coward characters, which I usually would play when I was
note taken.
like. because I actually was like, I did have that thought in my head. I was like, well, when you played when you were a kid, you always were like engaged in this weird, like, oh, it's you as the coolest guy in the world, like that's gonna be your character. And then when we started playing up here, I was like, yeah, why don't you do what normal people do and play like a fantasy character that you aren't, so be like a, yeah, I don't know,
like a warrior.
But that's why I want to be like a cleric when we start playing again, like a holy person, because I want to split the diff and have the right to be wrong about shit and not good at stuff.
By the way, Dan and I have drawn characters up with Spencer. We are starting up a new role-playing thing coming up.
We just wanted to time it with our move to the new space.
For Harmontown?
Very
oh,
exciting.
wow.
When we go to the new space, we're going to actually kick off a whole new campaign.
Wow. How do you feel about moving, Dan?
Yeah.
Are you having any sort of emotional feelings? Emotional feelings as opposed to unemotional feelings. Are you having any sort of emotions about
What
it?
feelings are you having?
And what emotions?
Well, I don't know. I guess I have like a weird intellectual version of an emotion, which is that I feel like, well, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm supposed to feel stuff, and that makes me feel. Well,
no, you're not. You don't have to.
No.
I'm just asking.
No, I'm not saying you're making me pressuring me to have feelings. I feel when I think about it, I feel like I'm supposed to feel things, and then that makes me feel sad. Just like remember when the Sleep With Me, our friend came on the podcast. You weren't here, but it's just part of my endless quest to fill your fucking vacuum. We had a guy on here. Shut up. Everything's been fine since you left.
I've always been here, Dan.
But the Sleep With Me guy, we were talking about...
What is Sleep With Me?
He was so close to hitting that new Kumail role in our team.
Who is this?
We were talking about A Chorus Line the musical. It doesn't
I
matter.
love
Don't get
that
distracted
musical.
by any of my tangents. We were talking about A Chorus Line the musical, and the character in that musical who has that song about how she feels nothing, and then and the nuances of that about how feeling nothing can actually be the most emotional experience you have. That's how I feel about Meltdown. And Meltdown said, "Do you? Well, you've been here for 5 years, and you've done lots of shows."
And
I dug right down in my podcast heart and thought, I've been in this room for a long time.
Yeah.
And I look at the pillars that are always in the way, and
They said to be a comic.
Feel
and
the wind
I
rush.
feel nothing. But
But your show's not going away, so you don't have to feel like we stopped doing our show in
Here.
October.
Right. Yeah.
We did it for 6 years. Okay.
How do you guys feel?
You just heard about it?
What is your
will-
feeling? What's your emotional
Well,
state?
I was
Cried
like,
a bunch.
I was sad when it happened, but now, even though it's only been a few months, it's kind of, to me, this sucks. It kind of feels like it never happened. It's this weird thing where when I every now and then I'll get a ghost of a feeling of what it felt like to do that show, but for the most part, it feels like it never happened. Like,
it's sad, but okay, another NPR piece. Have you these people that have superior what's it called? Fucking called superior
This American Life?
autobiographical memory or something like that. Sumac. It's very similar to photographic memory, but they have just like instant recall of any detail from their own life. They're not always 100% accurate, but if they can remember every day and every moment, and so you spend this time super jealous of them because how could that ever be bad? And like they can be like, oh, what's the best season of Friends? Well, I'd have to go back to episode. And it's like, holy shit, that's a superpower. You must be great in a writer's room. You would be great at everything you do. You'd be great in a relationship. You'd be great. Aha. They remember every fucking relationship. They remember how in love they were, like it was yesterday.
Wow.
They're not able to forget the day it turned from good to bad. They're not able to forget how it felt to be willing to die for somebody, and then to feel that same way about another person 2 years later. Then they're both, and they're just like they're haunted by.
well, that's the thing.
cool.
Part of getting over something is having to forget some of it.
You
and
kind
they
of
don't-
want time is
yeah.
best served ever coldening.
Very well put, actually. He's right.
Life is something that you want to happen right now, not a while from now, and not a minute ago. You want it to, even though it seems like a huge waste. You kind of want to die. Like eventually, you want to have.
And then when things are going forward, and you have an emotion that feels like one you felt before, that's how you end up feeling connected to this deeper current of like whatever the emotion is. And that's a lovely feeling, I think, when you get just that hint of like, oh, I've felt this before. Whether or not it's pain or like happiness or whatever it is, like that's the shit to me. That's like that taps you into the ocean.
When you have an emotion now that reminds you of an emotion that you had earlier.
Because it's a big thing in therapy to be like, okay, when have you felt this way before? Because often you're actually reacting to something that happened like 5 clicks back. In your emotions, but you're just you haven't dealt with it yet, so it's just coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I have my therapist. Obviously, we got missiles are about to drop on us and all this stuff. So she's
so who needs therapy?
So there's like a lot of anxiety and like I don't know. For me, it's also like I'm 44 and I'm right in the fucking crevice. I'm right in the tile grout between the bathroom tile where you're part of the Brotherhood of Man, not to be exclusionary, but and then the bathroom tile where you're kind of one of these old fogies that we all hate, that archetype that's just like, well, fuck off, young folks, get off my lawn and enjoy Medicaid or whatever. Like, and you're kind of like just like, this isn't my battle. You wouldn't hire me anyway. You're ageist, and like just like I'm getting close, like where I can like start ignoring the world and claim that I lived my life and pay my dues. But I'm right in between there, and I never did shit for anybody the first go round, and so I was explaining this to her. I'm like, I don't know when to care and when not to care. I don't know if it's like I feel like the nerve endings deadening in my soul. But at the same time, I feel like I'm remapping my neurology. Now I care about people, but now I'm just realizing how fucking dumb they truly are. And my therapist said like, she's like, let me tell you a story, a joke I heard. And she says, so there's this cop, and he's walking, and then he sees this drunk guy stumbling around in the dark, and the cop goes up to him and says, "Hey, what are you doing? What's going on?" I'm a cop, and the guy,
Your therapist is terrible at telling jokes.
And the guy says like, "Well, I'm drunk and I lost my keys. I'm trying to find my keys. I can't find them." And the cop says, well, where was the last time you saw them? Where'd you have them? Where'd you lose them? And the guy says, oh, back over there, down the block there. And the cop says, why the hell aren't you looking over there? And the guy says, well, this is where the light is. I said to the therapist, who, believe it or not, told the joke pretty much that way. That wasn't me. I was like, well, there was a lot of pipe in that fucking first act. Like, are you sure we shouldn't fade into the police academy when the cops like? But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh, I'm the cop. That's what she was inviting me to. The atonement with the stupidity. Like you go. Wait a minute. This person, Dunning-Kruger effect, whatever. Like you go. Oh, this person doesn't get it. They don't know that they're not going to find their keys over here just because this is where the light is. But there's darkness all around us, and everyone's drunk, and everyone's stupid. And if you are privileged enough to be a cop, it means that you knew somebody or lived long enough to like get a badge, and you're walking around, and part of your job is to like help people. And they're dumb. But you don't have to that story wouldn't make sense if the cop pulled out his nightstick and started beating that man in the head.
That would make some sense.
It is what would happen on Facebook, but it wouldn't if you were that cop, you wouldn't do that. It wouldn't make sense because he's only just stupid. He's not doing anything like wrong or. And I was like, oh. Yeah, I guess, and I was like, wait, but isn't that nihilism? Isn't that just kissing cousins with nihilism? And isn't that what the bad guys think? Nothing matters, so let's just fuck shit up? And she's like, well, you can spend your meaningless life doing whatever you want. You can care about people, or you can hurt them. And I was like, oh, like a video game, which is what we do. When we're disconnected, like some people enjoy their disconnection by hurting things. And when I play video games, I tend to go like, oh, I get it. That fucking prostitute. I shouldn't have hit her with a baseball bat. Wait, but you
still hit her with a baseball bat.
I shouldn't have hurt her.
I was learning what the buttons did.
That's
That
what
would
they all
be-
say.
that
That's
would be
actually
a-
what they all say. If a man says that to you, ladies, do not listen to that shit.
I'm so
Get out
sorry.
of there.
That
Get out
game
of there.
makes it easy to hit a prostitute with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
It practically happens by default.
there's a button that makes you pick up a baseball bat and hit a prostitute.
If you are holding
The
a
X,
bat,
it's an X button.
anyway.
It's a square, actually.
No, but like I remember playing Half-Life, the first Half-Life, and
The first half of Half-Life. 1/4 life.
it was quarter life.
There was a scientist that was like, I remember like,
You're not gonna react to.
I'm still here.
I'm sorry. There's
Anyways,
a scientist.
I remember like it took me. There was a scientist in my way or something, and I had to shoot him with a shotgun, and